CGTN, China Global Television Network.
There are few more awe-inspiring sights than the sun rising over the vast expanse of the ocean. The Kenyan coastline covers a distance of almost 1,500 kilometers and is fringed on one side with swaying palm trees and the warm Indian Ocean on the other. The ocean holds some of the world's most beautiful coral reefs, which are home to an exquisite array of marine flora and fauna. The beautiful wide beaches stretch for miles in some places, and the rustle of the wind through the palm trees gives one a sense of tranquility and inner peace. However, the impact of man in this tropical paradise through pollution, overfishing, and destruction of the marine environment has defiled and in some places done irreparable damage to the pristine ecosystem of the beaches and the ocean. Now, in this part of our journey through Malindi and Watamu, we explore the beaches and marine parks and meet some of the people who have dedicated their lives to conserving the environment and the precious marine life. I'm Beatrice Marshall. Welcome to Talk Africa. Have you ever wondered what happens to that plastic bottle that you throw out of the window or into the drain? Oftentimes it ends up in the ocean. This is just some of the litter that has been collected from the ocean. According to the National Geographic, over 29 million tons of plastic will be in the oceans by the year 2040, and that is a lot of trash. Well, ECoal is a social enterprise that is based in Watamu in Kilifi that is involved in cleaning up the beaches and getting a livelihood for the local community. I'm going to be speaking to Myra Alego, who's taking us through this project. Myra, what is going on here?
Well, first of all, welcome to ECoal Recycling. We are a community-based solid waste management facility that handles the waste here in Watamu. And recently we've started expanding our activities to cover other towns such as Malindi and Kilifi. And this waste comes in from hotels, beach cleanups, and we've also started purchasing the same plastics waste specifically from community members here in Watamu, Kilifi, and Malindi.
So when you talk about this is some of the waste that comes from the hotels, but also from the beach cleanups, how much waste do you get, like per week or per month or per year?
Well, the amount keeps on fluctuating. We know with the beach there are some certain months when the winds change direction. We have a lot of marine litter washing up on our beach. This is just the ocean spewing back what we've already thrown into it. And then when you come back within the months of September through to March, it starts to clear out, and you'll never know that, you know, this place is ever affected by marine pollution. Same thing with the waste that we receive from the hotels. During peak season, the amount of waste that comes in from the hotel is high because of the high number of tourists we have in the area. But the one thing that is consistent is the collection of waste from community members, because with them they just hit the streets, they hit the villages to be able to gather as much plastic as possible and sell it to us.
So when you talk about the community hitting the beaches, I mean, is that like self-awareness, or is that a project that you initiated?
We initiated the project because we wanted to make them move away from over-dependency on the tourism industry, because first of all, with the cases of insecurity, that is Al-Shabaab, the tourism industry was hit hard. COVID didn't help at all. So that means that the main source of income for Watamu community was really affected. So we started the Weigh and Pay, which is basically just a buyback scheme, whereby we show them that waste is actually a resource and they can make money from it and yeah, survive. despite the pandemic.
So after it's all collected and brought here, what happens next?
Well, come, let me show you what we do with it. But as you can clearly see, first of all, it is sorted into different categories. Over here we have sandals. Over here we have plastic water bottles. On the other side we have glasses, and we have a section for metals. And for the marine litter, we also put it separately so that we can tell which type of waste we have at any particular time.
So which one do you collect a lot? Like, you know, you've got all the bottles here and the plastic and the other plastic. What is the one that has a lot of volume?
Well, in terms of tonnage, that would be marine litter, because of the beach cleanups that we do in Watamu to be able to try and keep our beaches clean. So it's marine litter, then followed by plastic, then glass, and then tins and flip-flops.
What happens to the recyclable material?
For example, with the plastic bottles, what we do is we shred them into flakes and then sell them off to a buyer in Tuapa who exports it to Malaysia, because unfortunately at the moment Kenya does not have a recycling facility that can completely recycle PET. But for the hard plastic, we shred it again into flakes but sell it to a buyer in Mombasa, Gel Plastic, who transforms it into pellets, and those ones are actually fully recycled in Kenya into other plastic products. For the sandals, we sell them off to Ocean Soul, who make figurines out of it and sell them within the country and also internationally. For the metals, we sell them to the scrape guys who use it to make, well, upcycled stoves, lamps, and so on and so forth. And lately, we've added one type of waste, that is the fishing nets, the fishing ropes. And with this, we are able to transform our fishing nets into bracelets, and this helps our community members earn an extra source of income.
So it seems like this is still quite a huge problem, despite the fact that Kenya banned uses of plastic a while back. How big a problem is this still?
Well, for the plastic bottles and the hard plastic, we have a recycling system in place. However, the challenge comes in with the low density wrappers, because that one at the moment we don't have a recycling facility for it, neither do we have a buyer for it. And despite the ban of polythene bags, now that is the one item we find washing up on our beaches a lot. As you can see from the pile that we have here, this is a group of women who are part of a group known as Blue Team, and what they're doing is sorting. And at the end of the sorting process, you'll notice that the majority of waste that is going to be left as non-recyclable will be the wrappings. And now, the sad part about that is if we can't do anything with it, we send it off to landfills. And the whole reason why we started all this is to reduce the amount of waste that goes to landfills. So what they're doing basically is just sorting to recover as much resource from the waste that we get. They're separating the glass, the plastic bottles, aluminium, paper, as well as fishing ropes and hard plastic. The plastic bottles are shredded, and then we sell those off to a buyer in Tuapa who unfortunately exports it. But the end product is it's used to make yarn, which is used in making clothes for the fashion industry. For the hard plastic, it is fully recycled here in Kenya. We just start the recycling process whereby we shred it and then we sell it off to companies in Mombasa and Nairobi. For the glasses, we are using it for construction work to make our upcycled buildings, as you can see behind me. But we also have a glass crusher machine that transforms the glasses into smaller particles that are used for construction work. But the reason why we are the success story we are is because of the community members that you see here. We would not be here if it wasn't for them. They picked up the idea and owned it and ran with it. That's why almost 10 years down the line, they are still here with us. They've been here since the get-go, when all we are was just the whole concept was just a beach cleanup.
So there is still a lot of work to be done, and looking at the plastic and all the other stuff that you've collected, it is still quite a huge problem. Yes. Not only for the country but also for humanity. So what more involvement needs to be made, not only from the community, by the country, but also from humanity?
Well, the thing is, we need to shift from the idea that it's the government or the county government that is responsible for managing our waste, and start being responsible for the everyday waste you generate. Think before you buy that product. Try and see if you can expand the lifespan of every waste material you generate. So it will start with us. That's why we focus a lot on educating the community members on the value of waste, because we want them to shift their thinking from looking at waste as an ugly thing, but start viewing it as a resource. With metal, it has always been a really good, people already know the value of metal. Now we want to also bring the same idea they have when it comes to metal to plastic, so that we reach a point whereby we are having a shortage of plastic waste because everybody is rushing out to pick it and sell it or transform it into something else that will generate an extra income for them.
All right, Myra, it's such an amazing project you've got here, and good luck, and thank you for speaking to us about it.
Well, thank you too for visiting us.
Malindi and Watamu are well known for their stunning coral reefs, marine parks, and diverse marine life. But climate change and human impact are taking their toll both on marine environments and the animals that inhabit this ocean wonderland. One species that calls this part of the ocean home, but is sadly on the endangered list, are dolphins. On the next step of our journey, we literally get our feet wet and speak to two organizations that are involved in conservation efforts on the Watamu Marine Protected Area. I'm here with Warden Dudley. Welcome to the program. Tell me, what do you do here?
I'm the park warden in Watamu Marine Protected Area, one of the first marine protected areas to be established in Kenya way back in 1968. And the purpose of establishing this particular marine protected area was to conserve the marine biodiversity found in this area for the purpose of scientific research, education, training, and the improvement of community livelihoods. And we also look at the marine mammals, as well as the seabirds and aquatic birds, and the fish, the variety of fish found in this particular area.
What does your day-to-day life look like? I mean, I'm looking at this water and it is, pristine, very clear. I mean, it does seem that the conservation efforts are bearing fruit. Give me an understanding a little bit of what your day-to-day activities look like.
Actually, our day-to-day activities actually vary every day because of the unique characteristics of our marine protected area. But basically what we do is we try as much as possible to start by patrolling the area just to ensure that it is safe, free from any violations. And again, on top of that, we try to manage various tourism activities within the protected area just to ensure whatever the tourists are carrying out in the protected area is in line with the law. Then we support various communities and urge various communities to do various cleanups in this particular protected area. Then in terms of monitoring wildlife, we carry out aquatic and beach monitoring, as well as marine mammal surveys on regular basis.
So you're talking about this protected area having been put in place like in the 60s, right? Yes. If you can compare how it was at that time and what we are seeing now, what are the sort of successes that you can point out?
The main success is actually it is still serving its purpose since it was established. That is supporting scientific research and again supporting tourism and supporting livelihoods around this particular ecosystem. So that has not really changed.
All right. And what kind of challenges do you face in your conservation efforts?
Actually, there are various challenges that we are facing, and the biggest challenge that we are facing is actually pollution. And this pollution is man-made pollution. We are experiencing a lot of plastics coming in from the various parts of the world, and that is a serious concern to our wildlife because they are really affecting our wildlife negatively. Another issue is illegal logging of mangroves for posts and for building and charcoal burning. That is an area that we are really struggling in on the southern part of the marine protected area. And again, in terms of climate change, we have had issues of coral bleaching. That's affecting the health status of the corals.
So what are we going to be doing today?
We are going out for a dolphin survey in the marine protected area we are going to look at whether we shall find some dolphin out there. So we shall be looking at the numbers, what they will be doing at that particular time. So this data will assist us to ascertain whether this place is actually serving its purpose or not.
Michael, what does your organization do?
Watamu Marine Association mainly focuses on two projects. One is waste management and the other is marine mammals. And within marine mammal component, we've been trying to study types and species of marine mammals that are within our Watamu waters and what they do and even how do they utilize the area.
So what have we been doing here on the ocean?
Today we've been out on a dolphin survey, and this is starting up our 13th season because we've been doing this for the past 10 years. And mostly it's usually going out and trying to see what we're going to see. So looking at the species of dolphins, families, and even looking if we have residents that are coming back or we have transients that are coming in.
In terms of actual conservation, tell me about that, what it entails.
The beauty of it is when it started, we had a very close tie with all the partners that we were working with, and that is our organization, the community, and Kenya Wildlife Service. And over time, we have gotten quite a lot of support, and from the community aspect, they're helping in reporting. So we usually go out there thrice or twice in a week, but in the communities are always out there dolphin watching. So each time they see dolphins, they report to us, and we're able to cover a whole week. And then the surveys that you do twice or twice, we do them in collaboration with KWS.
So I'm really interested to know, what do you do with your finding?
So there are three ways on how we use our findings. One, it helps enhance the information that dolphin boat operators give to their guests. So, you know, it's much interesting if you can go in an area and someone can tell you, in this area we have X amount of dolphins, this dolphin has been coming here, has been going, and even giving them names, because they have names as well. And then we also have in terms of management, so we better understand where are these dolphins best spending their time and how are they utilizing this area, so it makes it much easier for conservation. And then also it adds, again, supporting the first aspects in terms of marketing. You know, it becomes much easier. So for us now, we can go out there and we can know areas to pinpoint, and that is based on the information that we got from our data and the local fishermen.
So in terms of what you've been observing over time regarding the pods, what is the IUCN status of the dolphins in Watamu? Are they endangered? Are they well maintained? What is their status?
We have the Indian Ocean humpback dolphins, and these are currently endangered globally. And in our area, we have been trying to much closely monitor them and try to see how impacted are they in this specific area. With the bottlenose as well, based on their proximity to human activities, they as well could be endangered, but we are gathering more data so that we can be able to assess what is their local status, because sometimes you have the international non-status, but then as well as understanding regionally how are these animals. In terms of what people can really do, it's one, creating awareness and people understanding much about these dolphins and looking at them from a different angle, because a lot of people look at them from a perspective of a fish. People sometimes do think dolphins are fish, but they're not. They're marine mammals, and they're quite highly intelligent, and they make really a lot of decision in their day-to-day life. So people need to understand that these animals as well need their space. And one thing that I've seen a lot is people usually want to swim with them. But then swimming with them, you really have to look at what is the composition of that family. Because if it's there are calves in the presence, I would prefer not to do that, because the more they are pressured, they get to a point whereby they might decide to shift position and move to another area. So out of a simple mistake, it can implicate the whole community. And people basically can also help through becoming citizen scientists, because as you're out dolphin watching, taking pictures, you can take those pictures, you can take locations of where you made the sightings and share that with us, and that can help us much better know the coverage of these animals.
Thank you so much, Michael. Well, we'll take a short break now, and when we come back, we'll tell you more about another endangered species and the conservation efforts being made to protect it. Stay with us.
Each day, there are millions of stories. Each one can open new perspectives, new possibilities. Wherever you look, we are there to see, discover, explore. We put the pieces together to find what really matters to you, all around the world, all around the clock. Our reporters are at home across the globe. From our headquarters in Beijing and production centers in Washington, Nairobi, and London, China Global Television Network. Stories from across the globe, reaching people across the globe. CGTN. See the difference.
The ocean has an amazingly diverse array of life, and sadly, much of the flora and fauna is endangered. Another endangered species that is not often talked about, but also calls these parts of the ocean home, are sea turtles. On the last step of our journey, we caught up with Local Ocean Conservation, an NGO based in Watamu that is involved in marine life preservation with a focus on turtle conservation. I'm speaking with Fikiri Kiponda, a turtle conservation expert, to tell us more about what his organization is doing here. Tell us about your organization.
Local Ocean Conservation does protect the marine life, and we best focus mainly with turtles, our flagship species. And with turtle conservation, in terms of turtle conservation, we have programs that we try to protect the turtle population and turtle life in general. So we have the bycatch release program, where we liaise with the local fishermen around Watamu. Whenever they get turtles in their fishing gear, they call us and we do arrangements and basically take all the necessary data with the turtle. We assess the turtle on the ground. If the turtle is not sick, not injured, then the turtle is released back to the marine park. And then we have the turtle nest protection program, where we basically patrol the night, every night, looking for nesting activity. And basically, when we get to find any nest, we protect that nest until that nest hatches successful. And the other program pertaining to turtle conservation, we have a rehabilitation center. The turtles that we are called in from the fishermen will be some of them sick or injured. So we have a hospital where we treat them, and when they get better, we tag them and release back them to the marine park.
So can you tell us, like, over the last 20 years, is there an estimate or a specific number of, like, the type of turtles you have that are normally found in this area, you know, the type of turtles that have been released, that have been caught in by the fishermen?
Well, we have 5 turtles of marine turtles in Watamu, which most of the turtles that we have around here has gone through our bycatch release program. So we have the most common one, which is the green turtle. We have the hawksbill. We have the olive ridley, we have the loggerhead, and then we have the leatherback, the very big one. And through the program, we have released all the species. But the most common that we'll be releasing on a daily basis will be the green turtle, which is the most common around here.
So what is the status of these turtles? Are they endangered? Are they well preserved? What is the status according to your organization?
All turtles in the IUCN, they're listed as endangered. Some of them are listed as critical endangered, some are vulnerable. The species that we have here, the 5 species that we have here, 2 of them are critical endangered. The hawksbill are critical endangered, and the leatherbacks. And the other 3 species, the loggerhead, the olive ridley, and the hawksbill, and the loggerhead, these are endangered species. So The species that we have here can be categorized in those two categories. So we have those ones which are critically endangered, which are in the next stage of being extinct. And then we have the ones that are endangered species.
So of course one would be wanting to know, what have been your biggest successes in the protection of the turtles?
When we talk about success, it cannot be something that is tangible in terms of turtle population, because turtles move from one place to another. But we have had many people saying that they have been around the ocean, but when they come to Watamu, it's the only place they would see lots of turtles. So with that effort that we have been doing, people could see it, and that's what we can say. We have done something that is people could see, and maybe see our efforts in a way that the population of turtles in Watamu, or rather it's a good place, because turtles are given another chance to survive. And that could be probably why turtles come into Watamu and find it's a very safe place.
Tell me about some of the challenges your organization is facing, and what are some of the challenges to the turtle species?
One of the things that comes as a threat to turtle is ocean pollution. There's lots of plastic being dumped in, and turtle will confuse that with their natural food. And when they end up swallowing that plastic, they cannot digest. They end up blocking their guts, and eventually they die. Then we have coastal developments. This is a beach where the turtle will do their breeding, but we find there are lots of structures being built in that, hotels and all these private properties, where they infringe the turtles from their nesting grounds. They don't have place for them to lay their eggs. Turtles have to come on land to do their nesting. And what if these grounds are infringed? They don't have that nesting grounds. So the big challenge is we are losing those nesting sites where turtles could come and breed, and that's why we could get more turtles in that respect. The other threat to turtles is the poaching. We have the local community which still they target turtles for food, which is a big challenge within here. And again, the fishing gears that they use, some of them are very much illegal, and those ones even threaten more the turtle life.
So what would you say to the local community, some of your biggest supporters? What would you say to the local community, to your international supporters, to other supporters, when it comes to the work that you're doing in Watamu?
Well, I would say if we could get more funds, we could get our efforts maybe extend to other areas. Because if we stick to Watamu with our limited funds, it's like a drop in the ocean. But if these funds we could get enough and maybe extend our efforts to other areas, that would make a big difference.
All right. Fikiri, it's an admirable thing you're doing here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
The land, the sea, and all life within are interconnected. But due to the effects of climate change, population growth, and pollution, more and more of our beautiful marine flora and fauna are getting close to extinction. Now, once a species is gone, it is gone forever. There's no bringing an extinct species back. The efforts of people and organizations, such as those we've met, are doing their bit to try and slow this disastrous destruction down. But every one of us has to do our bit. Stop littering, overfishing, and start planting more trees. Just a few things we can do to preserve our planet. Well, a big thank you to all our guests for their wonderful insights. And we'd love to hear your feedback through our social media handles on Facebook and Twitter. You can also catch the show on our YouTube playlist. And do keep this conversation going and tune in again next week for more Talk Africa. From the shores of the Indian Ocean in Watamu, Kenya, I'm Beatrice Marshall. Bye-bye.